Hello everyone, present here virtually. I am Sakshi here and I welcome you all the to this session which is titled as Introduction to MAT LAB. And presenting this session, we have with us our today's expert, Hans John De Cruz. Hans John De Cruz has received BE in Electrical and Electronic Engineering from Sri Krishna College of Technology, Coimbatore, affiliated by Anna University, Chennai, India. And, in 2013, he received ME in a Power Electronic and diverse from a Government College of Technology, Coimbatore, affiliated by Anna University, Chennai, India, in the 2015. He is a graduate student member of a IEEE Science 2050. He has over 7 years of a technique and a research experience. He is currently pursuing full-time PhD under the guidance of a Dr. K. Bhaskaran in the Department of Electrical and Electronic Engineering at Alagappa Chitri Government College of Technology, Karaikudi, Tamil Nadu, India. His research interests include power electronics, smart grid, renewable energy, and electric vehicles. You may start now, sir.
Very good morning, ma'am. And very good morning to all the participants. Hope you can see me, ma'am. Ma'am, am I visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, ma'am. So thank you very much for the introduction. So without wasting much time, let's go into the session. So here I'm going to talk to you about the software called Matlab. So Matlab is a wonderful software. Before going into this, there are certain things which needed to be done. Those who have installed Matlab in your laptop or desktop can just go through whatever I'm telling and use it, or maybe even after the program you can do that. And you should know basic computer knowledge to have understanding of what is happening. And yes, throughout the session, I want your attention so that it can be fruitful and effective. Ma'am, how can we get the response from the participants, ma'am?
It's a one-side presentation, sir.
Okay, okay, ma'am. So MATLAB stands for Matrix Laboratory. So the name MATLAB has been given because all the solutions or the calculations are done based on matrices. So those who have basic understanding of math will know what is a matrix. So we'll get into it as we go ahead with the session. So MATLAB works basically as a advanced calculator which performs operations based on matrices. It has been developed by a company which is named MathWorks. It allows matrix manipulation, plotting of function, and implementation of algorithm, which a part of it can be seen in our session. Okay, so this is how the window of MATLAB looks. So let me try to share it with you. And just give me a minute. Ma'am, is the screen visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. Is the PPT and the screen visible or only the MATLAB screen, ma'am?
Both are visible.
Both are visible. Okay, okay. That's nice. That's nice, ma'am. Okay. So just give me a second, ma'am. MATLAB. Yes. So let's try some basic operations here and see how it works. Okay. So can we do an addition of 8 plus 9? It's a simple operation. So let's see how it is done in MATLAB. So it is pretty simple. So this is the MATLAB window. Here you can type 8. I think it's visible. It might be a little small. Let me see if I can maximize it or something. Okay. Is it visible or is it too small? Okay, so let's go ahead. So I am typing 8 plus 9 here, and can you see that the answer is 11? So this is how the basic addition can be done using MATLAB. Can you see that? So 8 plus 9 is equal to 17. And if you see that we have something called the workspace where the answer is stored. I'll show that. So this one, the first one shows the folder names and file names. The second window is the command window. And the third window here is the workspace. And below you have command history. So in the workspace, the answers will be stored. Okay, so now let's perform multiplication. So 3 times 5 and your answer becomes 15. So you can see that the answer is stored in the workspace also. Next, let's do by assigning variables. So all this time we have been just adding two numbers or multiplying two numbers. Now let's save them. So let's take m equals 3 times 5, which gives the answer as 15. Okay. So if you see that in the previous step, what we did was we assigned the value of 15 to m. Now there'll be certain operations where you'll have to increase the value of some variable. So let's try that. We are trying m is equal to m plus 1. So what happens is the value of m will be increased to 16. So this operation is called assignment operator. So let's do a basic division operation. Y is equal to m by 2. So in the previous step, we assigned the value of 15 to m, which when we divide by 2, we get the value as 8. Okay, I guess till now it's fine. Okay, next, the use of semicolon. So those who are familiar with programming languages might know that the semicolon plays a very important role in programming. So if you see the previous commands, be it 8 plus 9, we get it as 17. Then 3 times 5, we get the answer as 15. M is equal to 3 times 5, we get M is equal to 15. M is equal to M plus 1, we got M is equal to 16. And Y, we calculated and we found that the answer is 8. But there will be some operations where you don't want to visualize, view the answer at that particular instant. You have to just use it for some other calculation. So for example, we'll do this operation in a different way. Y is equal to m divided by 2. And I just add a semicolon behind it. So what happens is the calculation is done and the answer is stored in Y, but it is not displayed on the screen. So if you don't want to view the answer, you can just add this semicolon behind, which just does the calculation, stores the value, the answer, which is 8 in Y, and it will not display to you. So the result won't appear in the command prompt, but it will be there in the workspace window. Yeah. Okay. So next part is the up arrow, which is very nice. Now there are like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or so let's say 6 comments which I've typed over here. So I want to repeat one of the commands instead of typing it again. So since this commands are small, it's fine. Let's say I have a very big line of coding. I can just tap the up arrow. So once I keep tapping the up arrow, it goes from the latest to the first one which is typed. So the first one which is typed is 8 plus 9. I type it, I get the answer. I'm just adding a semicolon and I won't get the answer. So let me assign a variable. Let's say k equals 8 plus 9. Okay. So to check if the answer is right, I type just k and k is displayed. So this is the use of the up arrow and the semicolon. Okay. Now let's try something else. Let's type an equation which says m is equal to 3 times k. Okay. So it gives the answer m is equal to 51. Why? Because we just wrote k is 70. Okay, but I don't want this value. I want k to be 5. So initially I am assigning k is equal to 5 and I'm going to run the command again. So now what happens is it multiplies 3 to the value of k, which I recently changed to 5. So MATLAB takes the value of the variable which has been assigned to it at the latest. Okay. So there are some rules which has to be followed when you name a variable. So this is quite common with most of the programming languages. It should start with a letter and contain letters, numbers, and underscore. But the key point here is you have to start with a letter. So let's see that. I want to write ABC 123 is the name of the variable, and the variables, let's say 5000. So this appears as a variable, no problem. ABC 123 is 5000. So what I'm trying to do is let me add an underscore. So ABC underscore 12, I want to type it as 15,000. So ABC underscore 12 is 15,000. That is also possible. Now let's say I don't want small letters. I want a few small letters like AB and CD as capital, then an underscore, then 1, 2, 3, 4. So this variable is also possible. So what is not possible is if I put the numbers like 1, 2 in front and A, B, C behind, it will show an error because the variable name should always start with a letter, not a number. And they are also case sensitive. Okay, what does that mean? So I am giving small a is equal to 8 and capital A is equal to 10. Okay, so now I want to perform an operation. Let's say D is equal to A plus A and E is equal to capital A plus A. So what happens is small d will add the small a, 8 plus 8, which gives 16, and E will add the capital A's, which is 10 plus 10 and gives you 20. Okay, so this is what case sensitive means. So when you're assigning a variable, you should be sure that you use the same case, whether it is capital or small, throughout the program. Okay, so next thing we have is editor. I will tell you why we have to use the editor and what is the benefit of it. Okay, let's do a program to find the area of a circle. Okay, so to find the area of a circle, I think most of you might know that the formula is pi times r times r, where r is the radius. So first thing we have to mention what is pi. It's 3.14. Okay, I have mentioned that. Then I have to mention what is r. So let's say the radius is 5. Okay, and now we can give the formula. So let me tell area underscore circle equals pi into r into r. Yeah. So I've done it. And now I want to see the value of the area. So area of the circle is 78.5. So now you see here, I have typed like four lines of code. But let's say I want a bigger code to be typed. So each time you type in a command window, it might be difficult for you to type that. So that is why we have something called an editor, which can be accessed by going to the top panel where you have File, Edit, Debug, Parallel, Desktop, and the next one is Window. So once you click on once you click on Desktop, you'll have Editor. Okay, so when you open Editor, just give me a moment. Let me share it with you. Okay, I guess the editor is also visible now. It will be a blank space where you cannot type or do anything. So the first step you have to do is click on File and click on New. Yes. Oh, something's wrong. Oh, yes. So File, and when you click on New, you get this window. And now you can type in the same code here. So let me assign pi is equal to 3.14. The next R, let me tell R is like 10. So I'm not using the colon here so that I want R to be displayed. And area of circle, I'm using off circle instead of underscore circle here. Area of circle is equal to pi times R times R. So I'm not using the colon here purposely because I want the value of radius and the area to be displayed. So next part is running the program. Here, if you see, you have a green button, like a play button. So you can click that. But once you click that, there will be a window opening which tells you to save the file. So I'm saving the file as area of circle. Yeah. So once it is done, now you can run. Okay, wait. Okay. So there is one more problem here. The name of the file should not be same. So I'm just changing to area circle instead of area of circle. So now if you see in the command window, can you see the value of R, which is 10, and the area of circle, which is 314, because for a radius of 10, you get the area as 314. So this is much easier to perform when you have the program in the command window. I'm sorry, in the editor instead of command window. So the next part is use of percentage. Okay. So this is a small program, but let's say you're writing a big program and maybe you might have a change of company or something. So somebody else is going to work on that program. When a new person comes up, he or she should know what has been happening with this program or what has been done. So let me tell, this is a code to find area of a circle. CI, yeah. Okay, now I'm going to run this. What happens is it will show you an error because this area of a circle statement will interrupt the program to be run. So the simple thing is you can just put up a percentage in front of it. So once you put a percentage in front of the statement, it will change into green in color. So whatever you put with a percentage will not be considered for the program. It will be just there for the understanding of the programmer. So this will be there in the back end, which will not be visible by somebody in the front end. So now you run, you just get the answer. The error will not be thrown. So this statement is very important. Now let's say I want to talk about the radius. I just type over here r is equal to radius of the circle. Yeah, so doing this, you can explain the program to somebody or some new person who's coming and sitting in your place. So whenever you write a program, it is necessary that not just you who's writing the program, but somebody else who's coming up in your place also should be able to comprehend and understand what is that program. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, we just changed that. We have done that. Okay. Now let's get to something called the matrix. Okay. So before going to matrix, we should know something about the array. So let me take x equals to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I want to save this value as an array, but it will not take this what to say, this type of format. Why? Because there is a small error over here. An array has to be saved using brackets, which is the parenthesis, the square brackets. So once I put up square brackets and enter it, so you can see the value of x, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now x is a array which has one row and 5 columns. Okay. Now I want a matrix. So what is a matrix? So it is an intersection of rows and columns. Let me do a small matrix. So now x is 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6, where 1, 2, 3 forms the first row and columns, and 4, 5, 6 is the second row and columns. Okay, so this is how you can save your matrices in MATLAB. Okay, now let's do some calculations. Okay, I want to change this 2. I want to add, let's say 4 to it. So I just do 2 plus 4 and give enter. So it will automatically change to 6. So the value in the first row, second column has been changed to 6. You can manipulate each value separately. Okay, so now next part is, let's say you don't want to manipulate each value, you want to manipulate um, the entire matrix. So what we can, let's take a new matrix. Y is equal to x times 2. So you have multiplied 2 to the entire matrix, and this is the result. So y becomes a new matrix, which is 2, 12, 6, 8, 10, and 12. Okay, so next thing, you're having some big data and you just want one file or one value from it. So let's say you want the 6, which is the first row, third column data. So let me take y, first row, third column. I get the value as 6. So this way you can retrieve the data. So now I don't want to retrieve the data. I want to change that particular number alone. I don't want 6. So instead, let me put 9. So now the matrix changed to 2, 12, 9, 8, 10, and 12. So the values can be retrieved and altered individually as well. Okay. So when the matrix or the array is small, you can like type in all the data. Now let's say you want to do something big. So x equals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so now we have x is equal to 1 to 10. But let me say I want x is equal to 1 to 100. So is there any shortcut to do that? Yes, we do have. So the format is x starting value colon the gap between the values, that is the difference between the first value and the second value, and again a colon, and then the last value. So I repeat, x, the start. Okay, let me change it to m, because you already have an x. So yeah, m, starting value is 1, the distance or the difference between two values is 1, and then I give 10 as a final value. Yeah, I get m, which is also the same, 1 2 3 4 5 7 9 10. So as I told you before, I don't want 1 to 10, I want 1 to 100. Okay, so here you have m is equal to 1 to 100. Okay, now I want all the even numbers alone. So what can be done is the middle value can be changed to 2, but also the starting value has to be changed, because if it starts with 1, you get the odd numbers. So let's see that too. So now you can see the odd numbers from 1 to 100 here by making a minor modification. Now let's make another modification, make it even numbers. So now you have all the even numbers from 1 to 100. So this way you can use the semicolon to easily get a continuing series of numbers. Okay. Okay. Now we have something called line space. So let's use that. Line space, the first number, last number, and the number of elements. Yeah, let's do it. First number 1, last number 10, number of elements. Let me give 5. Okay, so this is another way of representing a matrix. So here you can specify the first number. Let's say I want multiples of 5. Okay, so I give 5, and then 5 to 100 is the last number, and 5 number of elements. So okay, let's say 5 to 20, and I give number of elements 4. So now I get the multiples of 5. So this can be done when you know the first number, the last number, and how many values you want. So the values will be equally spaced. So that is the benefit of the line space function. Okay, so transpose. Okay, now I have x, I want to transpose it, x bar, yes. So y becomes transpose of x. So what does transpose mean? Is x is a row matrix where you have a row and 4 columns, whereas y is a column matrix, you have 1 column and 4 rows. So the benefit of this will be I'll tell you like when we go to the next thing. Okay, now we have a function called rand. It's a very useful number. Sorry, a very useful function. So I'm giving y is equal to rand of x. So what happens is y will give random numbers up till the value of x. So you can see there are plenty of values coming up. So let me make it a bit simpler. Y is equal to rand of, let me use 2. So when I do this, what happens is I get a matrix of 2 rows and 2 columns. Okay, and with random numbers, of course. So I don't want 2 rows, 2 columns. Let me have 3, let's say 5 rows and 5 columns. So I get a matrix which is of 5 rows and 5 columns. So then there'll be a doubt. No, I just want 2 rows and 3 columns. Okay, no problem. All you have to do is just change 2 comma 3. So now you have a matrix of random numbers with 2 rows and 3 columns here. So yeah, ones and zeros. Okay, Now let's say I need a matrix which should be something like this. So this is a zero matrix, and let me see. I want a matrix of ones. Yeah, now I have a matrix of zeros and I have a matrix of ones. So for this, you have to sit and type. So let's say, what if you have a shortcut to do it? M N O P. Let's say P equals ones, and let me tell a 4 cross 4. So I get a matrix which is 4 cross 4. Now instead of P, let me say Q is equal to zeros. And let me use 5. So I get a 5 cross 5 matrix, 5 rows and 5 columns with zeros. Let's say I don't want 5 cross 5, I need only 3 cross 4. So mention 3 first for rows, 4 next for columns. I get a matrix of 3 rows and 4 columns here. Okay, now extracting the elements. I think I've already discussed that, but yeah, not a problem. Let's use a random function here. M is equal to rand of 5. Okay. So you have 25 values here. And let's say we are going to modify the middle one exactly, which is the third row, third column. Okay, so I'm taking M, third row, third column equals 5. So now the value of the third row, third column alone will be changed. Okay. Now there's something called end. So what I'm going to do is third row, I'm giving end over here. So what does this mean is third row, the last element, which is third row and fifth column, I'm going to change to 10. So if we see the third row, last column will change to 10. So since we know the number of rows and columns here, we can write the number. But when we are in a situation where we don't know the number, we can give this end here. Now I'm giving just end comma 1, which means the last row, first column, the value of which is 0.6886. I'm writing at 0.5. So this way you can change any particular values using this end function. Okay. Now let's perform a small operation on array. Okay, so let's take x is 1, 2, 20, I guess. Yes, 20. Okay, so I'm not using a semicolon so that you can see what is x. So x is the set of odd numbers from 1 to 20. Just a minute. Okay. So what is the next command I have given is y is equal to x plus 2 and z is equal to x plus y. Okay, let's see what happens when y is equal to x plus 2. So y becomes just one odd number next number because we are adding just 2. So yeah, let's do it. Now with the next comment is z equals x plus y. So what happens is both x and y are added. The first element in x is added to the first element in y. Second element in x is added to the second element in y. And the third element in x is added to the third element in y. Likewise, it just goes on. So now we have done x, y, and z. Next one is w. What we have done with w, we have done it like 2 times z. So here what happens is 2 is multiplied with all the elements in Z. That's what we're doing. Now let's do division also. So V is equal to W by 4. Okay. So V is equal to W by 4. Since all the numbers are a multiple of 4, you're getting round numbers without any decimals. But let's say instead we do UV, let's say T is equal to W by 5. You get the, sorry, to W by 5 and insert 4. Yeah, you get the decimal values of it. That's it. So this way you can perform various operations on array. Okay. Okay, now let's do something interesting. So you have a lot of matrices here. Let's say you want to find out which is the maximum value in any of these matrix. So let me take A is equal to max of W. So if you take W, the values are 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, 48, 56, 64, 72, and 80. And the maximum value is 80. So this way you can find the maximum value in any matrix just by giving max. Okay. Next one is square root. So I think most of you know how to find the squares and square root. So let me take a big number. Let me clear first. Let's say D is equal to 1625. So I want to find the square root of this number. So X is equal to square root of D. So this is the square root of D. Okay, so let me tell I want some other number. 121. So square root of 121 is 11. So this way you can find out the square root easily. Okay, next one is round off. Okay, let's use rand function here. Q is equal to rand 1. Okay, now you have one random number which is Q. Okay, now let me round off this number. Q is equal to, no, not Q. X is equal to round off Q. So when you round off 0.45, you get 0. Okay, let's do something else then. Let's increase the value of Q. Q equals Q times 100. So now it's become 45. Now let's try rounding it off. So 45.7238. When you round off, you get 46. Likewise, you can use the round off function. Okay. So next is matrix multiplication. So there is a rule in matrix multiplication. One second. Okay. Okay. So when you have a matrix, let's say 1, 3, like 1 column, 1 row and 3 columns, and you have another matrix which has same. Okay, let me explain it practically. So let's give a matrix 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So now X is a 3 cross 3 matrix. Okay, now I have a Y which is 11, 12, 13, 14, I'm sorry, let's say 23, 45, 67. Okay. So X is a matrix which is 3 cross 3, whereas Y is a matrix which is 2 cross 3. So in matrix multiplication, the basic or the prime rule for any matrix multiplication happen is the number of columns in matrix 1 should be equal to the number of rows in matrix 2. So now let's try multiplying these two, X and Y, because the number of columns in matrix 1 is not equal to the number of rows in matrix 2. So let's do it. X times Y. Okay, error. The matrix dimensions must agree. Since it is not agreeing, let's transpose the matrix. So earlier I told you we have transposed a matrix. So when you transpose the matrix, what happens is, sorry, yeah, the number of rows are 3 and the number of columns are 2. So now if you see, the number of columns in matrix X is 3 and the number of rows in matrix T is also 3. So since the number of the dimensions agree, now if you perform the multiplication, it will perform without an error. So I'm doing X times T. Oh, wait. Inner dimension must agree. Just a minute. So T is 2, 3. Yeah. So sorry, there was some error with the coding. Yeah. So this way you can perform matrix multiplications. Okay. So now we can find the size of matrix. Let's do that. Now let me give a random matrix. Okay, now we have a matrix which is E. So I want the size of this matrix. So F is equal to size of E. So I'm getting 5, 5. So what do you think is 5, 5? It has 5 rows and 5 columns. So when you get the size of a matrix, it's always preferable to save it as two variables. So f of row and f of column. Let me put it in brackets. Oh, sorry, I put the wrong bracket. It should be square bracket here. Yeah. So here I have the number of rows is 5 and number of columns is 5. So this way I can extract the size of any matrix using this code. Yeah. Next is max. Okay. Let's say if G is equal to max of E. Okay, so when I ask for G is equal to max of E, it shows me the entire row which has the maximum value. Okay. Next one is, yeah, so let's save one particular value. Of X. Yeah. So now I have saved what is the maximum value of, maximum, which row has a maximum value, and also their locations using IDX. Okay, next let's do rand I. Yeah, so now I have random numbers which has 2 columns and 4 rows. So what is this 3 denote as? The size. Yeah. So let me change it to number, let's say 5. So I'll have 5 different values, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now let me make it bigger. So I only have values from 1 to 5. Now let me put, let's say 50. So now I'll have values from 1 to 50 in a 7 cross 7 matrix. So this is the advantage of using a rand I variable here. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Now let's get to general equations. So equations are something wonderful. So I guess most of you know what is the equation of a straight line, if I'm right. Yes. Yeah. So it is y is equal to mx plus c. So let's see how a straight line can be plotted. If I put y is equal to mx plus c, what do you think will happen? It will give an error because none of these are defined. Okay, so let's define one by one. So I think we can do it in a editor in a better way. So let's open the editor. Yeah, so what I want to do here is equation of straight line, which is y equals mx plus c. Okay, so let's define everything. So what is x? So x is the x-axis. So let's range it from 100 will be too much. 50, sorry, minus 50 is the starting value. Difference of 1 to plus 50. So now we have plotted the x-axis from minus 50 to plus 50 with a difference of 1. Done. Next m. So what can we keep as the slope? Let's say 5. Slope is 5. And c. So c is simply the point at which it meets the y-axis. We can either keep it as 0 and give a number. Let's give 2. Done. So now we have assigned all the variables m, x, and c. So what is left is y. Okay. So let's see what is y. Y equals m x, m times x plus c. Okay. Okay. Equation of line. Okay. So something's come up. So this is the answer which we've got. Okay, I guess the editor might not have been visible, so I'll just put it on the command window. One second. Yeah, so I've shared the editor also. Yeah, so this way you can find the value of y, but finding the value of y alone is not going to help you. I'm right. So you need to see it as a graph. So here we use plot. So the format of plot is the same: plot the x-axis and the y-axis. Yeah. So have we got the line? So this is the straight line. Oh, I can share that also. Just give me a minute. Yeah. So hope you can see it. So now this is the plot which shows y is equal to mx plus c, for which we have given the values. So yeah, you can enter a lot of values here. You can copy this figure you can mention the axis, like what is there in the x-axis, what is there in the y-axis. So you can mention the label as I'm doing here, x-axis, y-axis. Y-axis is, let's say, y. Title, straight line. Yeah. Yeah, so this way you can do a lot of yeah, lot of values can be retrieved from the graph, and you can also save it as an image, which you can use it for your research work, where you can put it in the uh, journal or the paper where you're doing things. Yeah. Okay, so now we have drawn a straight line. So let's do something different. Can we do a circle? Okay, so that'll be interesting. I guess the editor is still visible. Yes, it is visible. Okay. Yes. So now I am going to do an equation of circle. Equation of circle. Okay. So the equation of circle is x minus h square. I'll just put 2 outside. Okay, wait, I'll put the caret symbol, not a problem. Square plus y minus k square equals r square. Okay, now this is the equation, but how to realize it? So let's do step by step. As we did in the previous question, we can plot x as minus 50 with a 1 in between to plus 50. So x is done. Similarly, we need y-axis also. Oh, it's not getting repeated. Okay. So y is equal to minus 50 colon semicolon 1 50. Yeah, now we have done with x and y. So what do you know about h, k, and r? Okay, so as I told you before, we have to explain what is h and k. So h comma k is the vertex of the circle. Yeah. So let's specify that as 0 comma 0. So let's see a circle which is placed on the origin, with the center at the origin. Yeah. So we have done with the vertex. Now the next part is r. So as the letter suggests, r stands for radius. Okay. So let's save r as let's say 5. So now we have entered all the values. We have entered what is x, what is y, what is h, what is k, and what is r. Now the next part is to realize the equation. Okay, let's do that. Paste is not working. Okay, I'll have type it again. So let me take like a is equal to x minus h the whole square plus y minus k the whole square. So it is equal to r square. So let us do it as minus r square. Minus r square. Okay. Now let's run this program. Uh-oh. Okay, so it's throwing an error. Let's try to solve that. Yeah, so the program's run. So let's plot the circle, plot a comma x comma y. Okay, so 1 second, I'm not getting a circle correctly. Okay, I'm just getting a part of the circle. Okay, maybe I have to comprehend it better. Okay, never mind. So let's try something else now. Okay, so we just did the plotting part. Okay, so in matrix, there are two different functions. I'm sorry, in MATLAB actually. So this one which you're dealing with till now is the command window. So here we have to type the commands and make it happen. There is another window which is called the Simulink. I will just open that for you. Just give me a moment. It will take some time. Yes. So I have to. Yes. Yeah. So when I click on Simulink, this browser will open. This is called a Simulink library browser. So the next step is I have to open Simulink. Okay, 1 minute. I'll just turn on my charger. Yes, new model. Okay. So I have to click on this file and a new model. So this is the block where the Simulink will appear. Yes. So I guess all the three blocks are visible to you. Okay. So first and foremost, let me save it. So since I am from electrical background, I will show you how to design a rectifier. Okay. So what is a rectifier? I think you can see it in the PPT. So we have an alternating current as an input. So that is what we get as a power supply at home, which is sent through the diode. So the diode is used to convert any alternating signal to a direct current signal. So we do have a resistor inductor, which is a load, which we then the connection is completed with the AC circuit. So what is this is actually is I think we do have mobile chargers or laptop chargers. So all these devices work on DC. The output is DC current. According the voltage will vary. Some because the mobiles, I think it will have like 12 volts or 5 volts depending on the battery, whereas laptop will require a higher voltage. So generally, how this is done. So let's realize it in MATLAB. Okay. So you need some blocks. That's what we call them in MATLAB to function as certain things. So just give me a moment. AC voltage. Hmm. Something wrong. It's not coming up. Hello, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am. So actually, I was trying to work it out. I don't know, something happened. It is not working. So actually, this is the last slide, ma'am. So if there are any questions and answers, we can go to it.
Thank you so much for this very nice session, sir. If anyone has any question, you can ask. I think no one have any questions, sir.
Okay, okay,
Thank
ma'am.
you so much, all the participants, for your active participation. Let me inform to all of this. To all that this complete session will be available on our Research Circle YouTube channel. So if you want to watch it again or want to share it to somebody, please do visit the Research Circle YouTube channel.
Before we end up, I thought of informing one thing. So those who want to like learn a course or do something on MATLAB, even without installing the software, you can just type this mathwords.com. If you see in my reference in the slide, the second link. So if you go to that link, you can log in. It is free of cost. And there are a few free courses which you can do at your own pace. It is not time bound, so that you can also learn to program MATLAB. It is quite simple and it's quite easy. Just that you have to dedicate your time, and it is you can do it at your own time. Like you can do like one question a week or two questions a week. It's up to you. So once you finish it, you will get a completion certificate also. So that is totally free of cost. So you can please make use of it. So thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, thank you, sir, for taking our time for session. With our permission, I would like to end today's session here.
Yeah,
Thank you.
sure, ma'am. Yeah.